You and I are going wine shopping together. You can find a sensational bottle of wine for criminally low prices. Let's get started exploring and tasting new wines together. Today we are going to Italy to learn more about a delicious red wine that I think will please both the bolder red wine drinker and the lighter red wine drinker alike. So what could this wine be? Well, let's pull a cork and learn a little bit more and of course drink Valpolicella Ripasso. First, let's get to know the area a bit better. We are honing in on northeastern Italy to a region called the Veneto. That's where Valpolicella lies. You actually may be more familiar with the Veneto than you realize because this is the region that also produces Prosecco, as well as a drier white wine called Soave, which I'm seeing a lot more in restaurants and wine bars being poured by the glass. But Valpolicella is the Veneto's most serious red wine producing region. It's a pretty mild, cool climate that's very influenced by Lake Garda on its western side and by the Adriatic Sea on the southeastern side. The wines here are produced in different tiers, which you'll find marked on the label. So let's start with the base tier, and that is Valpolicella Classico. This is the most approachable, most easy drinking, freshest, lightest style, which is also the most affordable. Then moving up a little bit is Valpolicella Classico Superiore. So this wine is upping the quality a little bit, upping the alcohol a little bit, and also has that addition of superiore, which means it has to age longer than just Valpolicella Classico. Next, we move up to our friend Ripasso here. So this is upping the oomph factor quite a bit, upping the alcohol, upping the price. But what makes this wine so special, I can't really get into until I explain more about the next tier, which is Amarone della Valpolicella. So this wine is very labor intensive, there's very little of it made, and the price tag reflects that. The grapes for Amarone are dried for months in the sun, which shrivels and raisinates the grapes, concentrating the sugars and flavors before being used for fermentation. The wine has to also be aged for at least 2 years in barrel before being released. The resulting wine is incredibly bold, intense, high alcohol, juicy, spicy, robust. The resulting wine is intense, robust, powerful, spicy, high alcohol, and can cost you hundreds of dollars. Ripasso is often called baby Amarone because while these grapes are fermenting, the partially fermented Amarone skins are thrown in there, giving it more intensity, complexity, and tannin. That final tier, the little tip of the pyramid, is called Recioto della Valpolicella, and that is a dessert red wine. The process of making it is very similar to Amarone with the dried skins, but instead of letting it completely ferment to a dry wine, they halt it mid-fermentation, leaving quite a bit of residual sugar. It's very rare, very little of it is made, and as you can imagine, also very expensive. But let's focus in on our lovely Ripasso Superiore here. This is a bottle that I picked up from Trader Joe's for $11.99, which on the higher end of bottles for Trader Joe's, but still incredibly approachable, especially for what it is, which you just learned all that hard work that goes into this wine. The grapes being used in this bottle are indigenous and classic to Valpolicella. It is 60% Corvina, 20% Rondinella, 10% Corvinone, and then another 10% of Negrara. It's aged for about 8 months in barrel and then another 6 months in bottle before being released and delivered to you. So now that you've gotten more familiar with where this wine is from and the process that was used to make it, let's really dive into the glass and get familiar with it. The color is lovely. It's not super pale, but it's not opaque. It's not something that I can't, I can kind of still see my fingers through it. And it goes out to this lovely orange rim, which is pretty typical in a lot of Italian wines, but this lovely deep garnet center. It's about 13.5% alcohol, by the way, so this is not screechingly high in alcohol. It's pretty normal, middle of the road. But on the nose, lots of really nice dark red and black fruits in here, plums, prunes, raisins, which makes sense given the fact that it has that skin contact from the partially fermented Amarone skins. It's spicy too. There's clove spices, baking spices, which is gonna be coming from the oak, but also pepper, black pepper, fresh cracked black pepper, licorice in here a little bit as well. It's very warm, very cozy on the nose, very fresh, very juicy. Dark black cherries and red currant as well. This is lovely. There's a little florality in here. The more I smell, the more this is lovely. I opened this bottle yesterday as well, and I think it's actually developed really lovely in the course of a day. Let's taste it. Lovely acidity. My mouth is filled with water, which I love when I'm tasting wine. Lovely tannin as well. I would say the acidity is a little higher than the tannin. Acidity is bringing moisture into my mouth. Tannin dries out your mouth a little bit when you're tasting a red wine and you swish it around in your mouth. It's almost gonna feel like sandpaper on your gums. Very dry. This is not super high in tannin, but it's there. It gives it a nice backbone. And then yes, all those juicy black fruits. The clove is there as well. The plum, the prunes, dates, figs, orange. For $11.99, this is a great deal. I keep discovering more and more deals. I started shopping at Trader Joe's, Costco, and grabbing these wines when I was starting to learn about wine a lot more. And then, sadly, I didn't really go back and get stuff there, but I'm really discovering these little gems that make me want to keep going back there. There's so many fun things in this. This is gonna be delicious. This is gonna be great for the summer because it's not super heavy and it's gonna be delicious with grilled meats, barbecue. This would be a killer bottle to bring to a barbecue. Great with mature cheeses. If you're setting out a charcuterie board at a party, pop open a couple bottles of these. Your guests will be very happy. Mature cheeses as well. This would be great with a blue cheese. It's just bold enough to stand up to that without being overpowered. Pasta night, pasta with a red sauce, pizza night. I have a friend who recently got a one of those pizza ovens. I would love to bring a bottle of this over. I think she'd really, really like it. Make our pizza, pop open our wine. As I said earlier, I think that people who like a lighter style of wine will like this because it's not hugely overpowering like an Amarone probably could be to them. But somebody who likes a more robust red, a Napa Cab, would really, really enjoy this. And I love Italian wines too because there's just something about them, this rusticity that makes them so food friendly. This just begs for a big bowl of pasta or some stew or some grilled meats. Now I'm just getting hungry. But yeah, bring this over to a barbecue, grab a bottle, open it, just enjoy it. Teach your friends and your family about a new region and all these new cool grapes that you learned about. Really, really fun wine. For $11.99, not too bad. Not too bad. Pretty approachable, pretty affordable. So go out, grab yourself a bottle for pizza night, pasta night, introduce it to your family and friends, teach them a little bit about a new region, some new grapes. And until our little next wine chat, please keep exploring and trying new wines. Cheers.